gaming, is it better for kids? Was it better for kids in the 80s and 90s? Or is it better now that gaming is more mainstream?
Well, certainly geared towards kids more in the 80s and 90s. Are we talking just sort of in the console area, or are we looking at mobile stuff too?
Mostly consoles is what I'm talking about. Because to be fair, mobile gaming wasn't around.
Well, no. But I think that's where a lot of the younger generation is doing a lot of their gaming.
It is.
A lot of them do. Generation now is, to me, is all mobile with like phones and
or 3DS
and stuff like that.
See, like, I feel like it's kind of opposite in a way. Like, for kids, like, this generation, I agree with you guys, like, mobile and stuff. But, like, for the gamers like us, I think it was better back then because more games were young. Obviously, they were younger audience. I mean, you had your mature rated games, but, I mean, we played Banjo-Kazooie.
I think back then there was a lot more sort of mass appeal games, your Pixar games.
But we grew up with those characters, and they were part of our childhood, and we still love them today. We've just grown up, so it's like they appeal to us, but they appeal more to the kid at heart, as well as the little kid back then. So for me, I would still say like back in the 90s was more fun for kids, and I'm thinking of myself. For today, I don't know. It's hard to say because
I feel like we've kind of, I don't know, like we grew up with the industry in a way too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like now more of the games that are kind of like rated M or whatever, I feel like I actually enjoy those more now than
in that age group.
Well, I mean, I'm in that age group, but I'm thinking like back, which they didn't make as many M-rated games, I guess, for the N64. But I'm saying they didn't seem as
not for the N64.
Like to me, they didn't seem as fun as like Banjo-Kazooie, Mario, and things like that.
Now, do you go back and are there M-rated games for older systems that you appreciate now, or is it just?
I mean,
it's modern.
It's kind of hard to know the ratings.
You don't even know.
No.
You go back and play Perfect Dark or anything or Torah.
My take on it is this, and it's basically mainstream gaming.
Yeah.
But in the 80s and 90s, there was no rating system.
This is true.
When arcades and the Atari first came out, the worst game on the market was like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and people were like freaking out about that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like Mortal Kombat when games started getting more violent. But like as far as
they were always violent.
Well, I mean, like
blood and guts and gore,
like gory language, stuff like that. Mortal Kombat's what really pushed those limits.
God, you've gotten so big.
But mainstream gaming wise, and I just selected a bunch of mainstream games from NES, PS1, N64, and Super Nintendo. With the Mega Man series, for example, on the NES, they don't have a rating here, but every Mega Man game, to my knowledge, has been rated E since they started. And then Crash Bandicoot and Spyro are both E and K through A. Banjo-Kazooie, Sonic the Hedgehog, Mario, Donkey Kong, even Metroid. All of those are like focused towards kids because I guess what really happened was when Nintendo moved into the marketplace, they marketed it as a toy because gaming was going down because of Atari. So, and I think around the time the PS1 came out, those kids had started to grow up, and that they targeted towards that.
That was also PS4's way to sort of counter market against Nintendo.
Yeah. So, as the industry grew older, I think their focus shifted as well. Which technically, I think the reason more mainstream games now are rated M, like T and M, is because the majority of gamers now, statistically, are like 20s to 40s. But I think the industry as a whole has kind of forgotten about the kids. Because we've got Nintendo, but out of all my current...
there's tons of like not talking about like mainstream, but there's tons of games that are like that are technically, I don't know, what are those like reading games and all those things?
Like learning games,
learning games. Yeah, there's like a
Leapfrog.
ton of those. Yeah.
Yeah, but those existed in the 90s too, like back when Leapfrog first came out.
Yeah.
And there's still a lot of great games.
There is,
like Lego, the Lego games are good, Minecraft.
Yeah. Which I've actually got some of those out. But these are all of the games rated E that I've got, except obviously not on Wii U. But I just picked a few.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see the difference, I guess, in the games that are rated E versus then versus now.
Okay, yeah.
I agree.
But honestly, I think it's a good industry regardless. I do think it was better back then because it was targeted towards that group.
Yep.
Oh, for them specifically.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just to me, it seemed like the gameplay was better and everything. Like it.
Yeah.
I mean, like Banjo-Kazooie, I guess it's targeted to a kid, but I feel like almost any age
Yeah,
group
any age group.
could enjoy it.
Like I said,
Yeah.
there was
But
more
to-
mass appeal.
Yeah.
It was like
more,
Pixar.
more mass appeal. Like to me, now, more kid games are not as mass appeal. Like I don't know.
Well, I was about
You
to
just-
say, if you want to think about it in a really weird way, but it just popped in my head, and it's actually really true. I picked up one of those two. We all have played those, and we would like to play it again. It's like, oh yeah, we like those.
Yeah.
We grew up playing that. Most kids today
Yeah,
know Call of Duty,
I know.
Mhm.
That's the same.
Yeah.
and it bothers me because I'm like,
Most kids back then were playing Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
true, but I mean,
They always gravitated towards
Mortal
those things.
Kombat and like there's for some reason that doesn't bother me as much as like Call of Duty for some reason.
yeah.
I don't
but-
know why. Like
I mean, if I went to a little
think it's
kid
the
today at
realism.
GameStop and I said,
Yeah.
"Here, do you want to play a PS1 original Crash
They
Bandicoot,
probably-
or do you want to play Call of Duty Advanced Warfare?" And
they
they're like,
pick Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The struggle I had with Jonathan, although I did get him to play Uncharted today.
Yeah.
"Yes,
Although that's that's still in the same vein, but it's like at least it wasn't rated M.
that's right." A lot of language, but not him. All right, continue.
But like, I don't know. I think it's important not to forget that age group though.
Yes,
That's the thing.
Oh yeah,
I think that's
we're
what
gonna
Disney
die
Infinity
eventually.
and Lego Dimensions and
That's true. I forgot about those games.
Skylanders tried to appeal to too.
Yeah.
And that's fine because they kind of are toy gaming.
Mhm.
But now that Disney Infinity's out of the way, Lego Dimensions and Skylanders, which I'm still shocked that Skylanders is going as long as it did. I will be buying that Crash Bandicoot.
I'm shocked that Disney
Yeah.
sucks at video games so much. What's the matter with them?
I don't know.
A company like Disney should be able to figure out video games.
Well, see,
I think
I-
we've said that before on
Yep.
here.
Yeah.
I'm actually really happy with this strategy that they're going. They're like, okay, let's just pay really good video game studios. We'll give them our license.
Even though we already bought a couple of them and shut them down,
Yeah.
so that we're running out of really good video game studios.
But like when someone asked me about that Spider-Man game, they're like, I can't believe Disney's letting them do it. I said, I think it's a great idea. I really do, because Insomniac is a really good studio. They've got a great library, and I'm sure Disney's like, of all these studios, we feel these guys are going to be good, so let's go with them. Because someone had to pick that. Someone had to go, let's go with Insomniac. I feel they're going to be good for this. Either that or Insomniac really pleaded hard and were like,
Yeah.
we really want to do this.
Because I mean, I'm pretty sure Nintendo can pick whoever they.
Yeah.
And same thing with like Kingdom
think they're
Hearts.
good.
I think I've read the story of how Kingdom Hearts came out so many times, and Disney approached Square Enix first about they wanted to do a Donald Duck game, and then they wanted to do a Mickey Mouse game, and they couldn't agree on that. And eventually, Sora was born from that.
Yeah.
But that's interesting because that shows that Disney's like, oh yeah, we need a gaming community with us, but I guess we're just not that good at making one. So let's just let someone else do it.
They could be, because they have
They could
told
be.
some of the best stories ever, and a good story in a game goes a long way.
See, that's what I think the Star Wars games, whenever they come, will do. I think those Star Wars games are going to really, really do some good when we get there.
And another thing I want to talk about too is the perception on a lot of modern younger gamers is that if the game's not rated M, that's not good.
Yeah.
But I've
Certainly,
I've seen
that's
that.
Jonathan. If like, if we can like, I don't know, like we can even show him like the Lego, like the Lego cop. What's it called? I can't think of it now.
Lego City.
Lego
Something
City.
like Lego City.
Yeah, undercover.
Plays that
He'd
a
be
lot.
like, well, that game's for kids. That's, you know what I'm saying? But it's still a really good game.
Yeah.
I
It's
agree.
like,
Yeah, but he's pretty much almost like if it's not rated M, it
It's
can't
not
be a
good.
good game.
but I think Minecraft's the exception to that
Yeah.
too, because it's like, and in a way
That's-
Mario, but almost no one, like, those are like two games that are pretty much, especially Minecraft.
Yeah, that's to me. Minecraft appeals to everyone. That's a
Yeah.
big,
But I still feel
I
like
think now it
Mario.
skews
Mario
younger now,
still.
too.
I feel like it.
I feel like
It's
Mario
about
is
watch.
losing the audience, the younger kid audience,
Yeah.
a lot. It still has the traditionalists and the people who've been there since the beginning, but I feel like for younger audience, I
don't-
see a lot less kids buying
Me
those. But
I think one thing I really like about Nintendo games that are based like mainly for kids, like Yoshi or Mario,
Kirby.
or even Kirby, Donkey Kong, any of those, if you play through the game normally, like as a kid, you'll struggle a little bit, but it's such a gradual curve that you can beat it and you can feel great as a kid. But if you're an
A
adult,
lot of Nintendo games teach you how to play video games.
Yes.
yeah, if you're an adult and you go and play one of those games, you can really challenge yourself getting like
Extras like the.
like 100% in the game. That gets difficult.
Yep.
Like I just recently got all 120 stars in Mario 64 for the first time. Some of those levels,
Ridiculous.
yeah, like I was just like, it's not possible.
That's when you know it's a really well-made game, though.
Yeah,
I've been replaying Paper Mario.
it's awesome.
Love Paper Mario.
But it's like, I don't ever look at a game like, oh, that's cartoony, it's not good.
I don't base it on
I
the
don't
rating.
look at it and be like, oh, that's got too much guns.
I don't base it on the rating. Like,
Yeah.
Song of the Deep just came out.
Mhm.
People waved it off because it was so cheap, and it's a side-scroller game. It's a
Oh,
good
I'm
game.
getting that. I
It's
can't
a
wait.
great game.
We're a bit different though, because I don't know. Because I mean, we're doing a podcast about games.
Yeah,
We experience a lot of games. We're sort of like film buffs,
yeah.
Yeah.
but with video games. Because there's lots of people who like movies, but then there's people who watch all sorts of movies, and it's like they see everything. So we play everything.
That's true. And you got to think about also from the outside perspective, like,
And there's a lot of people that aren't like that,
yeah, and like
who just seriously couldn't care less about those.
Yeah.
They just don't enjoy them.
there was a review on Metacritic actually for Uncharted 3 that lowered the review, and a ton of fans got really angry at it. It's from some guy in New York. He did it in the magazine. He rated Uncharted 4, I think, a 4 out of 10 because he said to him it was just garbage. Like, it was just an awful story. It was an awful way to play the game. He just didn't like it. And then the gaming community just launched at him.
That's another thing. is
Didn't
we're
they make a
the gaming
petition
is
to get
way
that?
Yeah,
too-
yeah.
We're way overly sensitive.
Yeah.
My goodness.
And I mean, like, you have to think about it from his perspective. Maybe he is like a film more connoisseur, and he's like, this is, I mean, it's not near as good as a movie or something like that. And to us, it's like, it's so close to being to a movie, it's better than a movie, like, because we're doing it's great. And some people don't feel that way about it, but
I mean, one thing, I mean, like, I really hope the petition doesn't make them remove that. I
I don't think it is. I think they're going to keep
because
No, that-
I think he's entitled to that review. He's entitled to that opinion.
Yep.
Because
it doesn't dash the game's.
That's his opinion.
It's his opinion. It doesn't dash the game's credibility. It's still a great game. I mean, the gamers know that. Just because someone doesn't agree doesn't completely destroy it. I mean, there's been numerous games that have gotten terrible reviews, and most gamers still go, I love it. There's something about it.
Like,
but-
Even some of the greatest, like, what are considered classics now, like even Star Wars, had pretty mediocre to average reviews when it came out.
but people still go, oh, I love
People
it.
liked it.
that's like with the game I'm playing right now, 7 Days to Die, the console versions. Critics tore it to shreds, but almost everyone, fan-wise, who's played it, they love it because it's Minecraft but more realistic with just zombies.
And
That's what they wanted.
And again, this goes back to tolerance of having people's opinion, and then battle of critics versus fans, and some like Batman versus Superman. We've talked about it before, but
And there's a difference between the way a critic has to approach something as opposed to something
Yeah.
just playing it.
especially in a uniqueness of a film versus a video game, film critics are very different in what they're looking for compared to a video game critic. Because I feel like a video game critic, they have three things they should look for: how well does it play? Is the story good? And is it broken? Like, is the game unplayable?
Video
But I
games
mean,
have different metrics too.
The story thing is kind of iffy too because some games don't have a story.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Like Sticker Star.
it's I think it's more of a passive experience versus an immersive experience.
Sure.
Like, because if you're watching a movie, there is no interaction. You watch.
Well, commenting about the story thing, like last year's Star Wars Battlefront, so many people got ticked off because there was no single player campaign, and even though they're now adding it, I still was like, I love it without a single player campaign. Sure, I like it there, but to me, the best part of the games are those moments when you won't believe what just happened, and I get to tell you what I did and what happened when this player did this or this player did that. That's the story, and that's what I like about it.
That's another thing, like, when it comes to, we're getting off topic a little bit, but that's fine.
But hey,
when
podcast.
when like, if you're reviewing a game that's made only online, you should not be like, okay, the game is great, I would give it a 10 out of 10, but it didn't have a single player.
Right.
And if a game is focused on single player and doesn't, the developers like, this game don't need an online. Don't be like, well, it would have been so much better if it had online. I don't think those are valid.
Online's not really a problem now. I still, for some reason, I don't like how I don't know if it's slam. I don't like the idea of just having just an online game though. For some reason,
I don't either.
I don't like
think
it.
it's
I
just
don't like
where we were born.
excluding. I mean, it's not that big of a deal now because almost everyone has online. But I still just don't like the idea of excluding someone.
Josh is the only one left.
Yeah, because you can't play online. Like I just don't like.
He gets so mad when I talk to him about Destiny. He's like, I was like, man, this stuff in Destiny. He's like, don't talk to me about it because I get sad every time.
Yeah, but I've never liked the idea of like a fully online. Like, I mean, I love Battlefront and stuff. I mean, I don't know.
No, I completely agree. I mean, that's the one. That's with games like Destiny.
But I mean, if someone bought it that didn't have online, let's say they did have a single player. Even if they made like a really crappy, short single player, then those people would think this is an awful game.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of games suffer from that. Like, because they build it around the single player, and they're like, well, we need to include this online, so they throw something together as a bonus. But most critics don't see it that way because it could be broken or it could not work right or whatever. So, I love games.
Video games are good.